What's up, motherfucker?
Welcome to the Powerful Komiksman podcast. This is ganito lang yan with Komiksman. Okay, so this is the new format of the podcast. While we're waiting for things to get back to normal, whenever that is, because of course, ang kaibigan nating si COVID-19 is still around, and which is one topic that we would be talking about on this episode. So we're gonna start with Joe Rogan catching the virus. Okay, so Joe Rogan is basically my inspiration in creating this podcast. So we're gonna talk about that, but first, let me just ask you to please subscribe if you haven't yet. Share. You can also comment, and we can have a discussion, especially this in this topic. Okay, COVID here in the Philippines and also around the world. Okay, because there are when Philippine media, pag yung mga media sa Pilipinas, usually ang kino-cover lang niyan is very very skin deep. Kumbaga, sasabihin lang sa'yo kung ano yung mga numbers. Okay, ganito na yung klase na, ganito na yung number ng infected, ganito na yung number ng mga bagong kaso today, mga nadagdag, ganito na yung total, mga ganyan, ganito na yung namatay. Apart from that, almost wala na yung konteksto eh. Philippine media usually covers the technical or yung details, and then the corruption, and then the politics. Pero I think there's very little discussion on the implications of COVID and the pandemic and the lockdowns, the vaccine, and everything, every other aspect of the pandemic and the virus, other than what you can easily see outside. Okay? So even in YouTube and Facebook, very contained. Parang they made a lot of effort para hindi masyadong pag-usapan. Almost. Well, they want the information to be disseminated, of course, and it's a great help. Social media is a great help in achieving yung pagpapalaganap ng information about the disease or the virus, but it actually limits other discussions about it kasi sinesensor, and this video is probably gonna be demonetized, and that's how it has been for basically for the entire duration of the pandemic. Ever since the lockdowns started, it has turned political, especially in the US. Dito sa Pilipinas, hindi masyado eh. We're gonna get to that. Maybe we can think why it's not as political as it is. Other than, well, it is also political, but it is not as political as it is compared to the US. Iba kasi yung politics doon, iba yung dito. And I had the misfortune of being interested in US politics and also local politics. So, hindi ko masyadong pinag-uusapan na, pero I'm well aware, to say the least. Okay, so if you want to support the show, we have links I am currently uh making making merch or starting to make merch. Nasa ano pa lang eh, nasa Teespring pa lang to, so it's probably not for the Filipino market kasi medyo mahal siya. Pero I'm looking forward to creating or producing my own merch and other, not just for the show, and other things that we could sell. Okay? Some prints, t-shirts, and also yan, NFT, mga ganyan if you're into it. And of course, check out Miucha Lux Cakes as well. Anyway, let's go now to ito si parang Joe Rogan who has COVID. The guy has COVID. So I'm laughing because he's probably doing well dito sa video na to pinost niya. This is the video that he posted announcing that he got the virus. And this was created I think 3 days later or something like that, and he's feeling better already. So he's probably out of danger, and it's very complicated. This thing about Joe Rogan and the COVID is a little too way more complicated than it should be. Okay, because to those who are not familiar, Joe Rogan is, like I said, is the inspiration of this podcast. Okay, especially ginaya ko yung format niya. I'm not even embarrassed to say that yung face-to-face guests. That's why I'm a little frustrated that I cannot do it right now because of the lockdowns. Okay, so that's why I if you watch the previous episode, I talked about that more, so I don't want to rehash that. But Joe Rogan is also the the probably the biggest podcaster on planet Earth. Okay, in the universe, in the known universe, na alam nating mga tao. Okay, so he is also an MMA icon. He's a commentator in the UFC. So I'm a huge MMA fan. So among other things, also a comedian and of course podcaster. And in his podcast, he gets a lot of different guests. Okay, so from scientists to fellow comedians, MMA fighters, athletes, all kinds of interesting people, authors, philosophers, political commentators, yun, actors, Robert Downey Jr., mga ganyan, Elon Musk. Yun ang mga nagiging guest ni parang Joe Rogan. And he's well into, I think nasa 1,700 na siya, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even more. Basta thousands of episodes. And of course, it's just a candid show. And so casually talking and people giving their opinions on lots of things. And of course, since COVID had been a huge part of our lives globally, everybody has known COVID here on planet Earth. Lots of different opinions had been spewed, o kumbaga binanggit doon and diniscuss. And Joe Rogan is actually punta natin. Okay, so he's had several controversies regarding COVID kasi he has well Joe Rogan is a very healthy guy. He's 50 plus years old na, pero he lives the lifestyle na jiu-jitsu, 'di ba? Black belt jiu-jitsu, champion taekwondo practitioner. Uh, he hunts, he hikes, he does all of these manly things. And he's basically he works out yung mga kettlebells. If you're familiar with him, you would know. Basta he's a health buff to say the least. He even eats healthy, and he can afford that lifestyle and he lives it. Okay, so uh ang pananaw niya sa COVID, he's been portrayed as an anti-vaxxer, which I think is not. He said he's not an anti-vax person. Okay, so kasi si Dr. Anthony Fauci, he's basically parang he's the most parang DOH guy. Para siyang si ano natin, ang counterpart niya sa Pilipinas si Duque, 'di ba? Siya, kumbaga kung ano yung sabihin ni Dr. Fauci is basically it is held in high regard, at least by the government people. Even from Trump up to now with Biden, ano siya, even before pa yata Hindi ko alam kung kailan nagsimula si Dr. Fauci. Pero yan, he took notice in one of Joe's episode when Joe Rogan said he does not believe na yung mga bata ay parang kailangan, kumbaga it's not necessary for young people, young healthy person, 'di ba? Kung let's say you're ano ba? You're a world class athlete. Diba? Kasi Joe Rogan lives the lifestyle eh. So he's always around, or he's familiar, or he's used to uh, being around with healthy people. Kasi yun ang circles niya eh. So siguro meron siyang skewed worldview a little bit about that. So he's not used to people na I don't know. Maybe he is, pero from what I can tell, hindi siya worried kasi he has observed that the healthier you are, mas okay ka, which is reasonable to believe, 'di ba? Mas mataas ang resistensya mo, mas malakas ang pangatawan mo, and very low risk. And there are studies in about COVID that children are very, kumbaga mababa yung percentage na magkakaroon ng malalang symptoms ang isang bata, especially yung very young children, unless meron silang ibang sakit tapos nakuha nila yung COVID, ibang usapan yun. Pero if you are a healthy child, that is basta the studies show that napakababa ng risk factor mo. Okay, so and these opinions, kasi opinion lang yan eh. Kasi from what I gather, okay, I'm not a doctor or anything, ganyan. I would never claim to be an expert, pero what I know is that lahat ng tao magkakaiba yung physiology mo ng katawan, kumbaga, so what's good for me might not be good for you, and vice versa. Kasi magkakaiba tayo ng I don't know, ng physiology ng health. Kung I don't know, I don't know what the technical terms, the jargons involved in these kinds of discussion, pero let's just settle with that. What's good for me might not be good for you. Okay. I remember I had I had a coworker sa back then kasi ako pag sumasakit yung ipin ko. Okay, so I would dati kasi when I get toothaches, I take mefenamic acid. Okay. And parang nakita ko sa commercials na ano siya para pwede daw siya sa dysmenorrhea and other basta extreme pain sa katawan. And I had a coworker dati na she's basta may masakit sa kanya. I think it's dysmenorrhea. I don't think di ko alam kung toothache or dysmenorrhea. Basta hindi siya it was crippling. Kumbaga parang namimilipit siya sa sakit. Nandun siya sa office. So I volunteered to buy her mefenamic acid. Sabi ko bibilang kita ng mefenamic acid. Pero hindi niya alam 'yun. Hindi niya alam 'yun. She never tried it before. Kasi parang yung mga biogesic pa lang paracetamol na ano na siya basta may adverse effect sa kanya, which to most people na kilala ko parang okay, bumili inom ka ng bioflu pag nasisinat ka. Sa kanya hindi, pag may sinat siya, pag uminom siya ng bioflu lalong sumasama yung pakiramdam niya. So, pero she took her chance with sa sobrang sakit, 'di ba? So namimilipit na siya dun eh. Nakita ko, naawa na ako talaga. So, she took her chance to take the mefenamic acid. So, long story short, nabilan ko siya, she took it, tapos namaga yung mata niya. 'Di ba? So hindi na masakit yung kung ano mang masakit sa kanya before. Namamaga na yung mata or parehas na. Aside from the nakakapilipit na sakit, namamaga pa yung mata niya. And so it was shocking to me kasi hindi ko na ano yun. Hindi ko naranasan yun ever, and she was the first one to na nakita ko na nangyari yun. Okay, so the point is exactly what I said earlier. Parang mefenamic acid, to me, it's nothing. Diba? It gives me pain. It gives me relief. Diba? If I take, halimbawa, let's say wala akong nararamdamang sakit ngayon. If I take it, wala akong mararamdaman. Diba? Di ko, at least na sa visible, kasi pag sobra daw yung mefenamic, nakaka-apekto sa liver daw yun eh. But for me, it's relief. Okay, but to my coworker, it was hell. Nakita ko talaga kasi parang basta halos di ko nga alam eh, parang gusto kong dalhin sa ospital nung nakita ko siya. Pero okay naman daw siya. After a few hours of agony, she was okay. So to me, since I'd never had that kind of tawag dito, reaction whenever I take medicine of any kind, hindi ako takot hindi ako natakot magpa-bakuna for COVID. So I got it. Kompleto yung shots ko. So 2 shots of Sinovac, and libre lang siya, 'di ba? Libre lang siya, and I knew it's probably I'm not gonna feel anything that's debilitating, or it probably wouldn't give me any side effects na hindi ko magugustuhan. And so I took it, 'di ba? So magkakaroon ako ng sinasabi nilang immunity, 'di ba? And so with the other people in the house, and aside from that, yung vaccine station sa amin is literally 1 block away. So nilakad ko siya. To me, it's a very minor inconvenience, 'di ba? So I got it. I got the vaccine, and I was willing. Actually, I've been looking forward to it kasi I wanted us to be vaccinated here in the house, so that when I was hoping that the live podcast can resume, 'di ba? So at least I can tell my guests we're all vaccinated. And I don't know. Uh I would not have any problem taking the vaccine, and I'm very willing to take it. And I would advise everybody who no wala ka namang kung wala ka rin lang uh, magiging reaction sa katawan mo yung vaccine, just just take the goddamn vaccine, 'di ba? Kunin mo lang, 'di ba? Hindi ano ba naman yung mga isang oras the most na nandun ka, 'di ba? If it's kumbaga if kung ikapapanatag ng loob ng mga kasama mo sa bahay, 'di ba? But and also sa'yo, 'di ba? And basically society, 'di ba? But if you are one of those people, like let's say my coworker, 'di ba? She she probably hindi ko alam. Parang gusto ko ngayon parang gusto ko ngayong tanungin kung nagpabakuna siya. Kasi I would have if I was her, magdadalawang isip ako eh. I would need to consult my doctor first. 'Di ba? Kasi it's dun pa lang sa mefenamic acid, mamatay-matay na siya eh. E di, for her, I would assume it is a worrisome it's a worrisome predicament of na kailangan niyang kunin yung vaccine. 'Di ba? Kasi meron kang history at meron kang condition that your body, I don't know what happens kung nire-reject ba yon or basta meron siyang allergic reactions whatsoever. So my advice really is hindi you can't just say go ahead and take the vaccine eh. You just ask your doctor first. You need to ask your doctor first. I think that is the best advice. And that is my position in this whole vaccine thing. Diba? Kasi it's, hindi mo pwedeng, there's a mentality going around that if you have doubts about getting vaccinated, you are an anti-vaxxer, you are basically an evil person, you're an idiot, you are a conspiracy theorist. Well, while these people really do exist, meron talaga mga wild conspiracies about vaccines and COVID. There are people who say it's a hoax until now, hindi daw totoo, 'di ba? And while these people exist, it's also, I think, more stupid kung if you're gonna think that everybody, or I would not say stupid, more ignorant. It's an ignorant thing to do, to condemn people who have doubts about getting vaccinated, 'di ba? And just condemn them to be fools, stupid. Kasi there are people, may mga medical conditions, hindi ko na google, who are talagang ina-advise ng doctor nila, if you have this sickness, it's not gonna be good for you, or it's even gonna be bad for you to take the vaccine. Okay, so like I said, sa US kasi iba yung politics dun eh. Iba yung politics nila, and Joe Rogan is he's actually a left leaning talaga si Joe Rogan eh. Pero he's been branded as alt-right. I'm gonna make a video discussing those terminologies, okay? Wag ngayon kasi we're gonna digress. Pero that is one topic that I wanted to discuss here on this channel. Diba? Explaining what is left, what is right, what is center. Diba? Kasi sometimes, I, ako, in my 20s, I hear these words, parang left, right, communist, capitalist. Di ko alam kung ano eh. Parang, oo lang ako ng oo eh. Sa totoo lang. College na ako noon ha. 'Di ba? Ano ba yung sinisigaw nitong mga ano na to, aktivista na to? 'Di ba? Di ko alam. Pero basta masama siguro 'yun, 'di ba? Yung sinasabi nila, 'di ba? Yung kapitalista, masama siguro 'yun, 'di ba? Kasi masama yung ano eh, yung tunog pag binabanggit nila eh. Yung pag sinabing left, masama din siguro 'yun, 'di ba? Parang ganun eh. So, ngayon meron ng madami ng terminologies. Pero sa totoo lang, it's very simple. Like I said, we're gonna discuss it on another video. So, mag-subscribe kayo dito sa channel na to for that. Okay, so Joe Rogan is basically left-leaning, pero since he entertains people from the other side. That's why I love Joe Rogan eh. Kasi he gets the full picture, or at least most of it. Meron siyang 360 view of what's going on kasi he listens to both sides of the argument on every issue basically. 'Di ba? About climate change, yun ang mga hot topics sa kanya eh. Climate change, gun control, racism, which is yun yung iniisip ko na kulang sa Pilipinas eh. Kasi we have, sa kanila, ang US politics kasi, to a certain extent, meron na kasing, sa kanila kasi pumangit na eh. May mga mudslinging na parang it has already started to crumble, na parang nagbabatuhan na lang sila ng putik. Like here, parang, DDS ka, dilawan ka, di ba? Wala nang nuance. Sa atin kasi wala nang, very little na. Napakaliit na ng porsyento na ina-allow ng Philippine politics para magkaroon ng diskusyon, para magkaroon ng debate based on ideology. Yun na pag-usapan namin ni Professor Xiao Chua before, some 2 years ago, parang ganyan. And it's sa kanila at least klaro yung division na okay, nasa left kayo, nasa right kami, parang ganun. Tapos basta ganun. Kita mo yung divide. So madaling hindi naman sa madaling magdesisyon, pero at least kita mo kung alin yung argumento nung both sides. Ako kasi nasa center ako. I would probably say right now, before kasi right-leaning center, left-leaning center ako, pero ngayon parang napupunta na ako sa right-leaning center eh. Pero center pa rin ako. We're gonna discuss it then next time when we talk about politics. But since Joe Rogan is even though he's a leftist, basically, socialist nga halos si Joe Rogan eh. Kasi he's for tawag doon, universal basic income. Natawag nila. Next time na lang kung ano yun. So, pero since he accepts or he talks to other people on the other side, like Ben Shapiro, like yung ang ibang sinasabi nila na ina-accuse nilang alt-right, hindi naman talaga alt-right eh. They just question the far left. Diba? Yun ang nangyayari eh. So, madaming galit kay Joe Rogan. Tapos ngayon, itong New York Times, let's see. Ito, tingnan mo yung smearish yung ano niya eh, yung tawag doon, Breaking news, Joe Rogan, the podcasting giant who has been dismissive of COVID vaccines, tested positive for coronavirus. Diba? Parang, tapos makikita mo dito yung mga comments, yung divide. Kasi itong New York Times, ano to media, one of course, an iconic media brand in the US. And basically, almost all of mainstream media, aside from Fox News, are left-leaning. Okay, so they hate Joe Rogan. And aside from that, Joe Rogan is, kumbaga politics aside, disruptor siya, 'di ba? Parang ngayon bakit pa ako magbabasa ng black and white articles? No, bakit pa ako bibili ng dyaryo, 'di ba? When I can listen to a Joe Rogan podcast, which is much more interactive, much more comprehensive, and far more entertaining than their media. So, you like YouTube, mga YouTubers, like itong ginagawa ko, if you get big enough, bakit ka pa makikinig dun sa traditional media where you cannot discuss, you are given a very limited time to discuss a topic. Let's say dito sa TV Patrol, dito sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Ang news natin, TV Patrol. Ngayon, syempre sa isang araw, madaming balita, 'di ba? So kada isang balita, iaano mo lang siya, i-feature mo lang siya mga siguro mahaba na yung 10 minutes, 'di ba? Kung talagang malaki yung balita. Pero kung wala lang, kung mga normal na balita lang, 3 minutes lang siguro ang average. Kaya patok na patok yung yung mga palabas like Raffy Tulfo in Action, 'di ba? Noong nagkaroon ng malaking balita, like sino ba? Ano bang mga basta ibinalita siya sa mainstream. Let's say yung yung ano bang pangalan ng babaeng yung nagti-TikTok? That girl. Okay, yung binaril na lang ng police, 'di ba? Yung binaril ng police na mag-ina. So it has been covered in mainstream news like TV Patrol, 24 Oras. O kaya yung flight attendant na namatay, 'di ba? Pero sa Raffy Tulfo, mga 2 oras nila 'yon pinag-uusapan. So himay na himay mo yung detalye, 'di ba? Tapos may part 2 pa, may part 3, part 4. Hanggang kailan nila kayang pigain yung gatas nun, 'di ba? So talagang busog na busog ka, lahat ng chismis, lahat ng detalye na gusto mong malaman and more makukuha mo. Masasatisfy talaga yung craving mo for that particular story. So it's the same thing with Joe Rogan. The mainstream media would feature a COVID story in I don't know, 5 minutes, ganyan. Pero and then Joe Rogan will guest ano bang tawag doon? Basta yung doktor na nag-aano sa mga klase ng mga infectious diseases, mga ganyan. And he's gonna talk about it comprehensively for 3 hours. So you 'di ba? Saan ka mas matututo? 'Di ba? Malalaman mo lahat halos ng kung ano yung alam ng guest niya. Alam mo na rin, or at least you try to hear it out. So that's the advantage of podcasts. And yun, the mainstream media hate him for that. And if you're gonna talk about, let's say, kasi left-leaning ang ang mainstream media sa US eh. So if you're gonna do that to an issue that opposes them, or with let's say on a let's say gun control, US media is predominantly against uh, or pro gun control. Parang mali eh. Kumbaga ayaw nila na gusto nilang i-limit yung pagkuha ng guns pagmamay-ari ng mga baril ng mga Amerikano. And yung iba mas matindi pa, gusto nila talagang walang baril, diba? So spectrum din yan eh. It's a very interesting topic. So most of the time makikita mo yung mga mass shootings, 'di ba? Tapos makikita mo may mga umiiyak. Kaya ako naging interesado sa US politics. It's because of the gun control issue. Kasi ang lumalabas sa media sa US is sinasabi nila na yung mga Republicans, yung mga nasa right, wala silang, basically sinasabi nila demonyo sila na wala silang pakialam sa mga namamatay na bata. Diba? Wala silang parang mas mahal nila yung mga baril nila kaysa sa mga bata. Yun yung narrative. Ang dami kong nabasang ganun. Which to me is parang, what? Hindi ako makapaniwala. Hindi ko talaga matanggap na ganun. Parang, talaga ganun ng mga Amerikano? Ganun? Half of them are like that na gusto nilang pagpapatayin yung mga bata? Ganun? So, I looked it up. Kung ano ba talaga yung position? 'Di ba? Kasi kung ganun, edi masyasyak ako, 'di ba? Kung yun talaga yung... And then I found out na it's not. There's actually a lot of moving parts about that issue na, again, next time na natin pag-usapan kung makakaabot tayo doon. Kasi haba na masyado tong... But the bottom line is, hindi nasasabi yung kabilang side usually sa mainstream media. And Joe Rogan would guest people like, let's say, Ben Shapiro, who is a very smart guy, di ba? Na napakagaling na you're gonna, if you don't know Ben Shapiro, Google niyo siya or YouTube niyo siya. He's one of the most whether you agree to his opinions or not is not the point, pero he's a monster debater, 'di ba? Pag nakipagdebate ka sa kanya, kung hindi ka maghahanda, kakainin ka ng buhay ni Ben Shapiro. Okay? So that's his shtick. Basta, so they hate it. Yung mainstream media hates it kasi nagkakaroon ng platform yung mga ganong klaseng ideas. And one thing about the mainstream media, they want, or at least yan, mga CNN, hindi naman laging peke, may mga tama din naman sila, pero it's very one-sided. I'm not gonna say na lahat ng sinasabi nila is walang katotohanan. Meron din naman yung iba, pero it's always left-leaning. Okay, so hindi nila makikita yung hindi nila ipapakita yung kabilang side typically. And then platforms like Joe Rogan, like sino pa ba? Tim Pool, The Hill, 'di ba? Yung mga yan, makikita mo. And even hindi lang mga, kasi like I said, Joe Rogan is not even a conservative. He's practically a socialist, 'di ba? That's the opposite of being a conservative. Okay? And pero just by the fact that he openly talks to other people, binaban siya. Parang he gets smeared like this. And makikita mo yung comment, people rejoicing, and people actually, I think, di ko alam kung nagpa-vaccine na si Joe Rogan, pero he's never said, as far as I know, kung ang niya, He although he thinks that young healthy people don't need the vaccine, he never said na they shouldn't, 'di ba? It's up to you. Pero I think you're gonna be fine, 'di ba? Parang ganun. If I'm not mistaken. If that's not his stance, like I said, I stated mine. Sa akin lang naman kasi, bottom line is consult your doctor if it's gonna be good for you. To me, I took it because it's just a very minor inconvenience for me to take it. Okay? And totoo na, kumbaga parang, okay. Kung, kasi sa totoo lang, di natin alam kung ano yung nasa vaccine talaga. Okay. Pag-usapan natin yan in the next segment. Which starts, siguro tapos na tayo kay Joe Rogan, no? Teka, ano ba bang kailangan natin malaman kay Joe Rogan? Well, I just hope magtuloy-tuloy na lang. Let's just finish the Joe Rogan segment. Let's just hope that's about it for Joe Rogan's COVID experience and the Joe Rogan COVID experience. Okay, so and he hopefully he makes a full recovery. Seems like he's on his way, and yeah, I still support the guy. 'Di ba? I think there's a lot of people. Ang problema kay Joe Rogan, yung mga galit sa kanya, usually do not listen to his podcast. I don't know. Or it's just too tribal na pag nakita nila si Jordan Peterson doon, pag nakita niya si Ben Shapiro na nandun, kahit ginegest niya rin sina Bill Maher, sina yung mga Young Turks, naging guest niya na rin dati yun. Tawag dito, si Sanders. Ano pa pangalan ni Sanders? Yung presidential candidate dati. Ano niya? Gines niya yun, 'di ba? So it's not enough. Gusto nila kasi kami lang yung pakinggan nyo. The others, hindi sila kabate, 'di ba? It's authoritarian and it's disgusting, 'di ba? It is disgusting. Ako kasi I would not consider myself a conservative. I'm not definitely I'm not a leftist. Because basta tsaka na 'yun. Pero I would never there are leftist positions that I agree with, 'di ba? Kasi kaya nga ako center 'di ba? I think yung mga if you are nasa right ka lang, na conservative ka lang, I don't think it's healthy, 'di ba? Madaming injustices na mangyayari. So, we need socialist policies to balance it out, which is how it's supposed to be, 'di ba? Ganun naman talaga dapat yung design. Pero alam mo 'yun, to some people, you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. And we're gonna talk more about America's culture war in the next episodes. Okay, so that's it. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm full of shit. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you have other ideas. Let me know if kumain ka na ba, diba? Or heartbroken ka ba? Ina ka. And yeah. Next time again, what else?